Okay, here we go. I wanted to talk about joy and pain because they are two sides of the same coin. And what we know is, we talk about things in polarity, that there are things on one side of the coin is really the same thing, that all things are the same. So I wanted to talk about this because I've had a long 5 weeks. I'm hearing some feedback. Okay, tell me one more time if you can hear me.
Yes. Yes.
Because there's a delay. Uh-oh. Okay, so joy and pain. In the last 5 weeks, my son has gone into the hospital. We have had a sister, a friend, go into cardiac arrest, and then this week has passed, has died. And a lot of us have been in a lot of pain this week. And so I put this on Facebook Live for a while, and then we're just going to go off and talk for people. So I do Remarkable Wellness. I teach spiritual, mind, body, spiritual alignment. And we do these second Saturday talks. And there's nothing better than being able to do this right now. And with the public, because we know there's more people out there that are having issues around getting over this grief and this feeling of malaise that we're going through. So I just wanted to share a few principles that I hope will be helpful. Because like I said, I have been through my son in the hospital, my line sister has passed. In the middle of that, I went on vacation. So I've had some downs, some highs. He came out of the hospital. That's good. Many of us have gotten closer in consoling each other. That's good. But there's still this heavy. So you think about it, and it came to me, one of my sayings said, when I think of everyone, I think I'm joyous. I'm joyous when I think of her. I'm joyous and it hit me, joy and pain. And that's what I decided I want to talk about today. So many are students in my Remarkable Wellness. If you're not and you're enjoying this, please become a patron on patreon.com/remarkable wellness and finish. This is where we're going to complete this conversation. But I wanted to share some readings and some books. So if you get your pen and pencil, then you're going to get it. The whole point of what we're going to do is learn about how the world works, the universal laws and principles of joy and pain. And once you understand it, then you can use it to induce a feeling of joy and not pain. So we want to go through that. I swear I'm still getting some feedback. Okay. There's a book called the Caballon, and it's a hermetic philosophy. I want to share that. I also want to share first the Tao Te Ching. The Tao is an ancient Chinese religion. One of the big three is Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. And this one really deals about duality, like yin yang, good, bad, and all. So I wanted to start with this. It emphasizes non-dualistic thinking and interconnectedness of all life. The Taoist sage knows that dualistic judgments, one that favor differences and comparisons, depends on the person making them, not the reality of what's going on. And so when you realize that, it's so helpful. So I'm just going to get right into it, because you might be like, what the hell is she talking about? And so this is the second one. The second, I think it's 78 sort of wisdom principles. Yeah, no, it's 80. I think it's 80 wisdom principles. It's a jewel to have if you don't have it. All in the world recognize the beautiful as beautiful. Herein lies ugliness. All recognize the good as good. Herein lies evil. Therefore, being and non-being produce each other. Difficulty and ease bring about each other. High and low rest on each other. It's so beautiful. There's so much in here. Therefore, being and non-being produce each other. Difficulty and ease bring about each other. Long and short delimit each other. High and low rest on each other. Sound and voice harmonize each other. Front and back follow each other. Therefore, the sage abides in the condition of unattached action and carries out the teaching. Here, the many things are made, yet are not separated. And it goes on. But it's really the point being that to have something beautiful, you have to understand it. You're also having to see something as ugly. To have something good, you have to see something as bad. To have something long, you have to see something as short. And so that duality in everything is what makes life so great. What you see is that you need to have one to have the other. And when you understand how they interact, you're able to raise your vibration, basically. So this is, and I wanted to point out, I'm going to read from different spiritual texts because the truth goes through all religions. The truth is always true, and you see it in different ways. So I'm hoping that this helps to heal the heart so we can go from this place of this vacancy, this grief, this pain, and start to actually see it in a way and raise our understanding and awareness of how we can use these universal principles to begin to make ourselves feel better. And we do that by understanding and also making other people feel better. And it's possible, and people who you see live a sort of a cool, calm life, they do this all the time. They know how the universe works. They apply these principles, and it helps them be able to be even. So I just want to share a quick story. I went to a shamanic retreat in Arizona. There's a lot of high energy. It's like an energetic vortex in the world, one of many, but it's special here, at least in the West. And I met this shaman. She was from South Africa. Her name was Lucky. And she told me at the time I was coming, I was seeking and searching, and I was having like sciatic pain, and I had some things going on in my life and ups and downs like crazy. And I was just trying to pull it together. And she said, Tanya, the way, in her beautiful accent, the way of the world is not too hot or too cold, it's warm. And that always sort of stuck with me. So if you live your life in a really frenzied, fast pace, sometimes that's very stressful. If you feel stuck and nothing's going on or depressed, that's stressful. But the way of inner peace and happiness is the middle way, which is what the Tao is that's what they call it, is the middle way. So I realized with that, that's what we're talking about today. So the Caballon is the next, it's a Hermetic philosophy, and all of these are ancient books and wisdom and available, the Caballon. And they have 7 principles, two of them I want to talk about today. The main one being the principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. Totally different. This is like Greek, Egyptian ancient wisdom. This is Chinese ancient wisdom, saying the same thing, basically. That polarity embodies the truth that all manifested things have 2 sides, 2 aspects, 2 poles, a pair of opposites with manifold degrees of 2 extremes. And so basically this concept is to have hot and cold is the same pole. It's just a matter of degree. When does cold become hot? If I live in Florida, I'm cold at 60 degrees. If I live in Alaska, I'm feeling like it's a balmy day. It's a matter of perspective, but the point really is that it's on the same pole. It's really the same thing. It's just relative. So you can go between these. We're all human. Why should I be cold and you be hot? It's what we're conditioned to. It's what we're used to. And so when you think about the same way with joy and pain, they're on the same pole. It's just degrees. And so what we're feeling when we're feeling pain first is to realize that it's on the same plane, the same pole as joy. And we can, and we're going to learn how to raise our vibration by knowing this. You have the tool and the ability to say, okay. And then by using your will and discipline, you're able to re-examine the situation. Okay, life and death. The sun comes up, the sun goes down. These things are true. They always happen. A wave goes out and it comes back in. You breathe in, you breathe out. And so if you take a moment to realize that this is true for everything. You go out the house, you come in the house, you open the door, you close the door. Like literally, this is a universal truth on everything. Now, you can't compare opposite things. You can't say, well, I'm cold, so I'm on the same pole of hot and cold, or, I'm hot in the same pole of color, black and white. You can't change the white to hot. They're on different poles. So we're staying and talking about this pole of joy and pain. And in this way, you can then start to raise your vibration. So we see it's true. We've got 2 wisdom texts here that tell us it's true, that we've already talked about. This third one is from an ancient philosopher, Epictetus, who really just writes about how to live a good and happy life. And this is more encouragement versus polarity. Make full use of what happens to you. It's just, every page is chock full of just stories and wisdom. So that's why I love these. You don't have to read the book from cover to cover, but it's just full of the truth. Every difficulty in life presents us with an opportunity to turn inward and invoke our own submerged inner resources. The trials we endure can and should introduce us to our strengths. Prudent people look beyond the incident of itself and seek to form the habit of putting it to good use. On the occasion of an accidental event, don't just react in a haphazard fashion. Remember to turn inward and ask what resources you have for dealing with it. Dig deeply. You possess strengths you might not realize you have. Find the right one. Use it. If you encounter an attractive person, then self-restraint is the needed resource. If pain or weakness, then stamina. As time goes by and you build on the habit of matching the appropriate inner resource to each incident, you will not tend to get carried away by life's appearances. You will stop feeling overwhelmed so much of the time. That's what we're doing here. We're going into our inner resources, our know-how. Now that we know how the world works, it is up to us. We have the ability to then recognize that this is the way the world works. So what do we do now to raise our vibration? So, because that's what it is. So the next law I want to tell you about it's the next principle in the Caballon. So that was principle 4. Principle 5, this is how you're going to do it. This is the science. This is going to help. Is the principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. So we've got poles, we've got polarity, and we also have a pendulum. So if you're living a happy life, this is more like the wave goes out, it comes back in. This pendulum of the vibration that we're on, and you're in pain now, it's going to swing back to joy. And the distance between that is time, or your ability to use your will to practice these spiritual principles, to put them in practice in your life, to say, I know I can raise my vibration. I know that this pain will pass. I know that joy is on the other side, that joy is the same, it's relative. I know that I can do, I can be, I can make that. And so when we look at our situation, how do we raise our vibration? Someone we love passed or is sick, or we lost something, you know, that's what pain is. It's a loss, it's a feeling, it's an emptiness, it's a separation of our expectation. We expected that our past, the memories of our past and all of our relationships would continue indefinitely. But the reality is that's never true. Everything changes. That's actually another principle, the principle of momentum, I think. Everything changes. So our own basis of belief is incorrect. And once we self-correct and come back to the past, can never extend all the way into the future. It just doesn't work that way. Our body is different than it was 10 years ago, and it's different than it was yesterday. So when we start to say, okay, my pain, the grief that we feel now is because we're projecting in the future something that was happening in the past, which is a relationship and a love with someone, or with our bodies, or with anything. It's our attachment to what we want and desire from the past, and that we want to that continue to happen. And it's impossible for that to be the way for anything. Sad, but true. And so we can turn that sadness then into joy by realizing it, by saying, wow, well, what I need to do is then take joy in those relationships. And the more I can increase my vibration and focus on that joy, then that pendulum will swing faster. That's how you bend time. That's why they say time is an illusion. The pendulum will swing faster because now I can move right to joy. Instead of crying all day, I can start to like remember and go through pictures and laugh and tell jokes and stories, instead of saying, oh my gosh, why is this happening? Because I just answered to you why it's happening, because this is how the world works, period. There's no way around it. Whether it happened today or in 50 or 100 years from now, we're all going to leave this earth. We're all going to begin school and end school and graduate and have kids. They're going to go away from home, and you know, life continues. So once we say how or why, it's because this is how the universe works. We are in a divine matrix. Everything we do matters, and we can. Our whole point of being here is to live a happy life, but there is pain that goes with it. What we do is we use the pain to get to the joy. And the more we do self-introspection and are aware of this, we get to joy faster, and not only faster, we get there higher. Because dealing with this right now, you have to be changed at an accelerated level if you're aware. If you're not, what happens, that pendulum, or let's say the pole, you're going to fall into suffering and depression and deep despair, and you're never going to work your way back up to joy, or you're not going to let that pendulum swing back. You're just going to sort of be stuck. It can't help but swing, but it's going to go really slowly. You're going to feel like you're stuck. When you start to actively just grasp this and start to use it, like, yeah, okay, you know, it doesn't mean you're going to be happy in an instant. It takes practice, it takes some muscles, but you can make a big shift from today, from just knowing this right now. I know when I heard that on Thursday night, I'm telling you, Friday, I woke up like a new person. Like, okay, we're doing a celebration of life now. Like, I'm over the shock. I know I feel bad. What am I going to do with this? Lord, Spirit, Universe, tell me how, with all these wisdom traditions in this specific place and point right now, how can I overcome faster and still honor that person? Some people think, oh, I don't want to forget, or if I'm not in pain too long, then I must not really be honoring this friendship. That's not true. That's not true, because our friends and our loved ones want us to be happy. Period. Don't you? I mean, that's the whole point of relationship and then being a child of God. So that's a false thing that people think, and we're going to break that out now. The quicker you can get to happiness about celebrating someone's life instead of lamenting that they're not here, it's okay. It's good. Like, it's good. You want to feel good, and you want to feel good about the love you have for that person. And I want to sort of end this, at least on social, and then we can talk together in this Patreon group, this closed group of Remarkable Wellness journeyers, we'll talk more intimately. There was a couple that the Bible. Come on, I'm not going to leave it. There's so many. We could just go on and on. It's the same thing. I stumbled across the scripture. The one I want to tell you, I don't even know if I can find. I don't like the version of it in this Bible, but in the NIV it says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come against you." And it's James 1:2. This version says, "So let it grow and don't try to squirm out of your problems. For when your patience is finally in bloom, then you will be ready for anything, strong in character, full and complete." And the NIV says, because pain produces perseverance, let perseverance complete its work so that you will be strong and lacking nothing. I'm not good at memorizing it, and I realized this wasn't the right version. Even this is saying, consider it pure joy when troubles of any kind come against you, because it produces perseverance. And that perseverance, it polishes you like a diamond so that you'll be complete and lack nothing. You won't have to continue to be in that same low level type of pain. You'll be able to grow and shine and overcome it. So consider it pure joy if you're elevated, if you can start to think in the way God, if you believe in God, if you believe in the universe, then use this belief in your life today, and it will surely help elevate you to a place of joy. And I was trying to play Joy and Pain by Frankie Beverly and Mason. I'm going to play it when I get off of social, but put that in your playlist. And we created one. You'll find it on my page. So I just wanted to share that in general with everyone. I do find me on patreon.com/remarkable wellness, which is where I'm going to continue this conversation with my folks on Zoom so we can have an intimate conversation. We're always learning this. This is about learning how to find happiness in the midst of chaos by understanding the universal laws of the world and how God works. So I hope this helped somebody. Love and light, and be blessed, be happy, find the joy in everything.